I'm 87 years old, and I'm about to tell you something that might upset you. Everything you think you know about living is completely wrong. Your parents, your teachers, society, they all taught you the same lie. Work hard, climb the ladder, and someday you'll have time to actually live. I believed that lie for 52 years. At age 52, I had a massive heart attack that stopped my heart for 4 minutes. What I discovered in the 35 years since has completely changed how I see everything. I'm making this because I'm running out of time, and there are things you need to hear before it's too late. Not for me, for you. At 52, I had everything. I was a senior partner at a law firm, 6-figure salary, corner office on the 14th floor with windows overlooking the city, a house in the suburbs worth over $1 million, 2 cars in the driveway, a wife of 28 years, 3 kids who all went to good colleges. I had the respect of my colleagues, the admiration of junior partners, invitations to country clubs I didn't have time to visit. I thought I had it all figured out. I had the career, the money, the status, the family. On paper, I was winning. My father would have been proud. My younger self would have been jealous. I was living the dream. Or so I thought. I was in the conference room on a Tuesday morning presenting to a client. It was our biggest account, $12 million on the line. I was in the middle of explaining our litigation strategy when I felt this pressure in my chest, like someone was sitting on it. I tried to ignore it, kept talking. The room started to spin. My left arm went numb. Doctors called it an acute myocardial infarction. That's a fancy way of saying my heart tried to kill me. I collapsed right there, hit my head on the mahogany table on the way down. The client called 911. My heart stopped in the ambulance. They had to shock me 3 times. 3 times. I was clinically dead for 4 minutes. I woke up 2 days later in St. Joseph's Hospital with tubes coming out of everywhere. My wife was in the corner, crying. She'd been there for 48 hours straight. My kids came in one by one, looking scared. My son, my oldest, couldn't even look at me, just stared at the floor. And you know what the worst part was? The doctor came in and said, "You're lucky, you'll make a full recovery." Lucky. Lying in that hospital bed with my chest cracked open, feeling every heartbeat like it might be my last, I realized something terrifying. I'd been living my entire life on autopilot. I wasn't really alive. I was just going through the motions, working, sleeping, working more. I couldn't remember the last time I'd laughed, really laughed. The last time I'd sat with my wife without checking my phone. The last time I'd watched a sunset without thinking about tomorrow's meetings. Let me tell you the biggest lie you're probably telling yourself right now. I have time. You think you have time to fix things later? Time to travel when you retire? Time to repair that relationship after this big project? Time to pursue your passions once you're more financially secure? Time to be happy when you finally achieve that next goal? When I make a partner, then I'll take that vacation. When I pay off the mortgage, then I'll work less. When the kids are grown, then I'll focus on my marriage. When I get that promotion, then I'll finally relax. When I save another 100,000, then I'll feel secure enough to enjoy life. Let me save you 35 years of regret with one simple truth. That day never comes. You know why? Because the goalposts keep moving. You make partner, and suddenly you need to make senior partner. You pay off the mortgage, and suddenly you need a bigger house. You save 100,000, and suddenly you need 200,000. You're always chasing something just out of reach, and before you know it, you're 87 years old wondering where your life went. You're climbing a ladder only to realize it's leaning against the wrong wall, and you can't climb back down and start over. Time doesn't work that way. I had a friend who died 8 years ago at 58, Michael. We worked together for 23 years. He was brilliant. Built a consulting empire from nothing. 70-hour weeks for decades. Never took a real vacation. His wife begged him to slow down. He kept saying he'd slow down. Next year. Next year. Always next year. He had a stroke at his desk on a Thursday afternoon, dead before the ambulance arrived. At his funeral, his daughter, she was about 30, gave the eulogy. She said, "My father was a successful man. He provided everything we needed, but I barely knew him. He was always at work, always traveling, always too busy. I have maybe 5 real memories with him from my entire childhood." Is that the legacy you want? Your regrets won't be about the things you did wrong. They'll be about the things you didn't do at all. My father died when I was 45. We had a complicated relationship. He was tough, critical. We fought a lot when I was younger. As an adult, I was always too busy to really work on it. Too busy with my career, too busy climbing. I kept thinking we'd have time to sit down and really talk when I was less busy. Maybe when I took that vacation, I kept postponing. He had a heart attack at 72, died 3 hours later. We never got that chance. You know my biggest regret? All the Sundays I didn't call him, all the times I was too tired to drive the 40 minutes to have dinner with him and my mother, all the little moments I let slip away because I was focused on the next deal, the next client, the next promotion. There won't always be more. I don't lie awake at night thinking about the cases I lost or the partnerships I didn't make. Those don't matter. Nobody cares. You know what keeps me up? The trip to Japan my wife wanted to take when we were 40. I said we couldn't afford the time off. We never went. She died last year at 84, never having seen Tokyo. The relationship with my daughter that I let deteriorate because I was always working, always stressed, always somewhere else, even when I was home. We barely talk now. The book I always wanted to write about my grandfather's immigration story. He died in 1989. The stories died with him. I never started. The thousands of hours I spent working that I could have spent teaching my kids to fish, to cook, to just be present. They don't remember Dad being there. They remember Dad being absent. These things eat at you. The missed opportunities, the roads not taken, the love you didn't express, the risks you didn't take because you were afraid, the moments you traded for money you didn't need. After my heart attack, I made big changes. I stepped back from the firm, went from 70-hour weeks to 30, then to 20. Then I retired completely at 58. I started saying no to things that didn't matter. Committee meetings, networking events, cases that paid well but sucked my soul. I started saying yes to things I had put off for decades. Woodworking, learning piano, traveling with my wife while we still could. In these last 35 years, I've learned more about life than I did in the previous 52. What matters is embarrassingly simple. Time with people you love, work that feels meaningful to you, experiencing things, not owning things, creating memories, being present. I know it sounds simple. When I was your age, I would have rolled my eyes. Sure, but I have bills to pay. I have responsibilities. I can't just stop working. And yes, you do. I'm not saying quit your job. I'm not saying abandon responsibility. I'm saying don't sacrifice what matters for what doesn't. There's a difference between working to live and living to work, between providing for your family and never seeing them, between building a future and missing the present. Nobody on their deathbed wishes they worked more. Nobody. I've watched 30 friends die in these last 35 years. Not one of them said, I wish I'd spent more time at the office. Not one. They said, I wish I'd told my kids I loved them more. I wish I'd forgiven my brother. I wish I'd taken that trip. I wish I'd been braver. I wish I'd lived. So here's what you do. Right now, today. 1. If you died tomorrow, who would you call? Call them today. Tell them what they mean to you. Stop waiting for the right time. There is no right time. Now is the right time. 2. What are you putting off until someday? The trip, the project, the conversation, the risk? Schedule it. This week. Not next month, not next year, this week. Put it in your calendar. Make it real. 3. Look at your schedule. What can you cut? What meetings, what commitments, what obligations are draining you without adding real value to your life? Cut them. Say no. Protect your time like it's the most valuable thing you own, because it is. 4. Talk to your family. Really talk. Put the phone down, turn off the TV, ask real questions. Listen to the answers. You think you have time for this later. You don't? 5. Stop chasing the next milestone. If you're not happy now, you won't be happy when you make more money, get that promotion, buy that house, fix what's broken in your present, or your future will just be more of the same. 6. Forgive someone. Life's too short for grudges. That person who hurt you, that family member you're not talking to, reach out. You don't have to forget, but forgive. For your sake, not theirs. 7. Do something that scares you. Take the risk you've been avoiding. Start the business, write the book, ask for the date, Apply for the job. The worst that happens is you fail. You're going to die anyway. Might as well fail at something that matters to you. I'm 87 years old. If I'm lucky, maybe 10 years left. Maybe 15 if I'm blessed. Probably less. And I'm okay with that. Because these last 35 years have been the richest of my life. Not because I made more money, I made less. Not because I achieved more. I achieved less by society's standards. Because I finally started living intentionally, appreciating every day, prioritizing what matters. I've traveled to 23 countries I always wanted to see. Spent real time with my wife, morning coffee on the porch, evening walks, actual conversations. Deepened my relationships with my children and 6 grandchildren. Learned to play piano, badly, but who cares? Taught myself woodworking and built furniture with my own hands. Forgiven people I held grudges against for decades. Said, I love you, thousands of times. I'm happier now, at 87, with maybe a decade left, than I was at 52, when I thought I had all the time in the world. That's the irony. When you understand time is limited, you start to actually live. You stop wasting it. You stop postponing joy. You stop making excuses. You say no to what doesn't matter. You say yes to what does. You create the memories while you still can. You have a choice, right now, today. Keep living the way you're living. Chasing success, chasing money, chasing achievement, putting off happiness, telling yourself you'll make time later. Work yourself into an early grave or a hospital bed where you'll have the same realization I had at 52. Or wake up. Realize time is running out faster than you think, and the life you're waiting to live needs to start now. Not when you're more successful, not when you have more money, not when things calm down. Now. I can't make this choice for you, but I can tell you, you don't want to be 87 years old looking back, wishing you made different choices. You don't want to be lying in a hospital bed at 52, realizing you've wasted half your life. Don't waste 35 years figuring this out. Learn from my mistakes, live intentionally, prioritize what matters, stop waiting for someday. Someday is today. It always has been. If this resonates, share this video, leave a comment, tell me what you're going to do differently. Subscribe, because I have more truths to share and not much time left. The clock is ticking. What are you going to do with your time